Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test Champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. How's the week treated you, my bro?
Yeah.
A little bit of a gutting one Monday morning there, but...
a gutting weekend of sport in general, I feel.
I had a bit of a shattering Monday overall, to be honest. You know, seeing Arsenal do the business, but obviously West Ham couldn't do us any favours. And then the Knicks, falling short at home.
Bowing out in game 7, yep.
Not the
best Mondays for you. Just a shit weekend.
At least my footy team didn't lose as well.
You get the 2 points, you're into the 8, I believe, with that. I don't know if you still are. You might have been
not on points difference.
You might have been maybe at the time of what's the old mate that was supporting the Waz? Guru.
Roasty. NRL Roast, yeah.
It gets mistaken for Guru quite a bit.
Yeah, they look real similar, yeah. They've both got the beard, big fellas.
He said that they asked him something about it, and he said, I've got the 2 points and we're into the 8. So maybe you were at some stage, I'm not too sure, but either way, you get the little, not the dub, but you get the bye locked and loaded.
The B, yeah.
I believe we've got another bye coming up, the Tigers, I think, which is quite nice. We've got another 2 points.
Origin season, yeah.
Move away from the
a few byes to be given out.
Shit game of footy to finish off your magic round. I don't want to say just because we lost, but I mean there was some magical moments in there. Don't get me wrong. Hammer was on form, but maybe the worst game of the round. I reckon like every game was pretty bang on.
Yeah,
I know Jaden said that he thought the worst game of the round was Brisbane versus Manly, but I thought that was pretty solid game. But yeah, it was magical to say the least, I think, the weekend. So
yeah, to be fair, being a Manly fan, you probably would say that.
2025, I think we have to be there. We've got to get there.
Yeah.
Take a Thursday off and a Friday, obviously. Probably take the Monday off, fly back on the Monday. But I reckon you fly over there. Maybe not even take the Thursday off. I think you fly over there Thursday evening. Maybe it's a half day Thursday. Maybe you finish your clock off slightly early. I make my way out this way. We get to the airport. You're arriving in Brizzy at maybe 9:30 Thursday night. Something like that. I don't really know.
Possibly.
10:30.
Oh, if you're catching like a 9-10 o'clock flight, probably.
Yeah.
It's like you pretty much land like
About
an
same
hour
time.
after you leave. Because it's like 2 hours difference and 3 hour.
Yeah.
3.5 hour flight.
So something along those lines.
Yeah.
You're rolling in. You're stopping off somewhere for a beer and a burger, something like that. Maybe on your way home. Maybe popping in too late for that. I don't know. Maybe it's a probably if we're being honest.
Round, there'll be parties all week.
If we're being honest, I'm probably going straight to Hungry Jack's as soon as we arrive, if that's the case, even though it's just BK. But I think
Then certainly hits different, the old Hungry Jack's.
You get your Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You fly back out on the Monday. You're prepped and good to go for work come Tuesday. Maybe you do. You maybe even rock like the midday or even morning flight on the Monday if you need to. If you really want to be feeling fresh for Tuesday, but. I think it's got to be done next year. I think we have to lock it in. It's a spectacle. Locked in for the next 3 seasons, I believe. There at
Up in
Suncorp.
Brazil, yeah.
So, who knows what the plan is.
I've never been to Suncorp Stadium actually. So
I've never been to Brizzy, so I think it's going to have to be on the cards. But with Magic Round comes a whole bunch of magical players. Now I want to get it off the back straight away. This is a controversial team of the week. You've had one of the biggest upsets we've seen in a long time, the Warriors taking out Penrith, and you sort of run through, pick your 13, and we've always got people to pick, and I'm the eliminator, I guess you could say, and I think we had three Warriors in contention.
Nah, we had 4.
We've got one. We've got one.
We do.
I thought I'd eliminated. So I don't have to say shit really. To be fair, I don't have to cover my ass. We've only got one Warriors player in there. Really, Penrith's worst game of the year. Worst game in a couple of years, I'd say. So I don't think the Warriors were that great. Penrith were just that shit. So I don't have to save myself. So we're going to start off at the back. Not with Katoa², who I probably would have maybe argued to get in there. We're going for the hat-trick hero himself. Armstrong. What a player he's turned out to be.
100%, yeah. No Ponga, no problems for Newcastle at the
Ponga
moment.
sucks when he comes back.
They're picking up the wins.
They
they've won more without him than they have.
You can't drop him. That's the thing. You can't get rid of him. He doesn't just get shipped back out to reserve grade.
Nah.
It's Ponga into the halves. He stays at the one.
He's a hell of an athlete. Yeah, I mean,
they need to score points tonight.
It's been the argument for many a year. Can you get Ponga into that into that number 6 jumper? I think, yeah, probably does give Newcastle another headache along those lines.
It's the best shot.
Do we see the same problems that we see with Ponga up in the front line? More likely to cop a head knock. You know, we've seen him definitely play his best footy at one.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this week, it's Armstrong who's in our team of the week. And yeah, plenty of headaches for O'Brien when Ponga does come back in the fold, because, yeah, playing some awesome footy at the moment.
It sure is. Joining him in the back line there, we've gone for Coates and the first of 2 Katoa². There on your wings, scoring some tries at the moment. I had a great little interview of Sione Katoa.
Yeah, shout out Sione, just heard him on the radio.
Fletch wants to get him a tinny. Yeah, just a boat. He said a tinny. Said he'd have to get a tow bar. His current car doesn't have a tow bar. Fletch said, well, the tow bar doesn't come with the boat, mate, so you're going to have to get that sorted yourself. So we've chucked Katoa in there, slightly based on that, and then Xavier Coates there taking the other wing spot.
Yeah, Craig Bellamy coming out with a little bit of an underhanded compliment. You know, he said you wouldn't go around saying back in my time that your wing is your best player on your side, but here he is. Yep. Big up in Coates there. So yeah, well done. Another huge game, and I'm sure he'll see himself a maroon jumper in the forthcoming weeks.
Well and truly. Completing that back 5, we've gone for the old man and Dane Gagai, and the more youthful side of Iro there from the Sharkies.
Yep, Kyle Iro, hell of a game up against the Chips for him. Probably could have chucked Ramian in there as well. I think I had him as one of the options that you have eliminated, but Dane Gagai, he's just picked up a new contract from the Knights, and showing why they were right to have faith in him, sign him on for another couple of years there.
100%. He's playing some good footy and takes the team of the week jersey there. We've gone for a halves pairings of Ethan Strange and Nico Hines. Strange playing with 3, 4, 5 years of experience, it looks like, when he's out there. Playing some awesome footy, and Nico Hines is the reason why the Sharkies are sitting there at the top of the table.
Yep, and he is one of those main reasons for sure. Nice little that first try of the game, you know, little outside or inside outside with Hines there. That was just awesome footy, and yeah, definitely deserves, I think, what will be a sky blue jumper coming his way in a week or so.
It's a bit of a default pack with the amount of injuries that we've seen there at the moment, but pretty tasty looking backline there. Moving into that forward pack, another integral part of that Sharkies team at the moment. 5 tries, I think he's 3rd top try scorer for the Sharkies behind Mulatalo and Katoa². Tommy Hazelton. And it's all sparked from the loss against us, where we put a high shot on Toby Rudolph. Tommy Hazelton had to come in and play, about 60, 65 minutes, put in a blinder, and since then he's been untouchable. So he's taken one of the popping roles this week.
Yeah, what a bloke. What a bloke. And to join him, another maybe not a headline superstar name, but
Wants to get the ball as much as Tommy Hazelton.
he's a big name in the rugby league community.
He was getting pissed off that he didn't get past the ball the set earlier. He thought he would have got himself a try there as well. But yeah,
Big Marky Nichols, the GOAT.
Yep.
Good on him. Another man who's secured himself a new contract up at the Finns there. And
interviews with a mouth guard in because he's got shit teeth. So I think that's pretty fucking cool. So we've chucked him in there for this week. Slodding there in between the two big men. Harry Grant. Solid as always.
Oh yeah.
What do you expect from him?
He absolutely tore up Parramatta, helping Melbourne pile on 50 points. I believe he even got himself a meaty there.
Yep,
at some stage.
Got himself a good little meaty there. So he slots into that hooking role. We then move on to our second Katoa of the team.
So no double barrel this week, but 2 Katoas.
No double barrel
squared.
But Katoa squared. Yep, I like that. We've seen him obviously since he's moved from the Warriors sort of turn into a new player there at Melbourne.
One of many,
as you tend to do when you head over and play on development. But pretty solid game as well. Got himself a meaty in there too, I believe.
Great. The Melbourne locals would have been calling that one a specky. It was a hell of a take. Plucked it out of midair in front of Taolangi.
Yes. Great try. There was quite a few and I had to sort of bring my mind back there a little bit, but no, that was a great one. Then you've got your one stupid Warrior. We've managed to get him in there, Mitch Barnett. That's kind of like your double barrel for this week. You had to have a Warrior in there because they won. Mitch Barnett. That's about it there. And Big Paddy Carrigan taking that locking role.
Yeah, solid as always. In the Broncos victory there. Rounds out the team of the week again. Pretty tasty looking team, but no double barrels. I don't know if I'd be backing them come grand final day.
Back to on grand final day, no. But yeah, I think looking at that team, they'd give it a fair.
They'd probably give it a good crack getting to the grand final.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We may have someone on the bench. That may be the way to go. And if you don't have any good double barrels that week, they might have to take an 18th man. The Hammer. That's a double barrel.
Yeah, Footy.
Yep.
He could have been in there.
He could have been in there. So it could be 14th man. Who knows? But that is your team of the week for Magic Round. We moved back into normal proceedings for this week.
Well, a bit of Thursday night footy.
Yeah, your Dargans coming up against the Doggies there. Obviously, a fresh-looking St George team up against the Doggies team. We probably feel like they may be a little bit unlucky coming out of that loss there against Canberra.
Yeah, did we? That was part of the reason I went Canberra, wasn't it? It was a Doggies away game, technically.
Yeah.
So worrying signs for the Dargans this week coming up against a Doggies side that I believe are sitting very pretty 4-0 at home, 5-0 away. But Dragons are going to have to buck the trend because the Dogs have played some pretty good footy, obviously at home, particularly well. And Dragons, I mean, we've been up and down this season. Definitely improving a lot. You'd probably say battle of most improved so far?
Yeah,
these two teams?
You could say so, yeah. Definitely a little battle of most improved. Both teams have sort of moved themselves away from that lower end of the table, which is what we've been used to seeing them for the last couple of seasons or so. I do like that battle of the most improved. I do think you're right though. Dragons are going to have to bring the A game, whether the bye is a help or a hindrance. You'd like to think it's a help. Fresh team.
I'd say it's a help for us. We
didn't have to travel to Brisbane. I don't know whether or not the lads would have been able to travel up there anyway, or whether they just fucking run a bit of a double, just a bit of a training week, or I don't know how it goes. But yeah, they're going to have to be on their A game either way.
Look, you'd have to get in touch with Flano to find out that one, what the boys' schedule was over the bye week. But yeah, hoping that we do come in not having been totally smashed at training there.
And also not totally smashed at Magic Round,
Yeah, that's a
ideally
good
too.
thing. That's a
So
good
I'm meaning in terms of in the crowd rather
thing.
than on the field there.
Yeah, obviously.
But
a few too many 4Xs up there potentially for the Dargans. If that's the case, could be a big doggy as well.
The Caxton possibly. Yeah, who knows? I think I'm going to have to go with the Dogs in this one. It's hard to go against that perfect home record. I'm going to go Doggies 1-12 into the big man Billy Armand Katoa to get himself a meaty, and your man at the moment, Zachy Lomax, paying healthy 22.65.
Yeah, not too bad on the value there. Can't say I'll be whipping you home on that one. I've gone for the old faithful Dragons 13 plus, $6.20. We're up on last time. Obviously a bit more of a challenge going up against the Doggies at their home ground rather than Souths for us. But yeah, 6.20 if you like the Dargans, have a dig.
Jump on it. Not often this happens. We rumble straight in from your lads into my lads. First game of Friday night footy. The Tigers travel up to North Queensland there to take on the Cowboys. As always, we're coming off a loss 6 weeks in a row. Cowboys coming off a win over the Bunnies, only the Bunnies, but the Bunnies gave them a good crack in this one. So whether it means that the Bunnies are starting to turn a slight corner or whether the Cowboys are just that shit and we've got a crack in this one, I'm looking forward to it either way. I do feel even with I was going to say injury depleted. It's not injury depleted. It's just fucking depleted by people being morons and getting themselves suspended. I do back us travelling away for this one, but I don't know if we might be another week away. Once Caesar's back, we may be alright.
Yeah, look, North Queensland, I think we're 5 losses in a row going into that win over Souths. And yeah, as you said, Souths, while they may have played reasonably well, definitely compared to what they've been putting up this year, definitely not the hardest team to pick up the win over at the moment. So yeah, I reckon I'd give the Tigers a good crack in this one. You guys have obviously struggled yourself, but yeah, I mean,
we're going to have to be up for it. No Justin Olam.
Up in Townsville's going to be a tough one.
Papa Lee's back,
That always makes
which
it
is
hard.
good. He's back from suspension. So that's a handy acquisition to get back into the team. Losing obviously the other two there, two young guns, Josh Folletti and I can't remember who I said the other centre was. Tristan Riley. The other fellow that came from Rugby Union, I believe.
Yeah.
I think he was a Waratahs player. So a little bit of a Rugby Union link up there this week. I don't know if he's playing on the same side as Alan Morwell there. I mean, we weren't overly bad. I feel like we just shot ourselves in the foot too often in that game there against the Dolphins. We were in it for most of it. We went down to 12 and then to 11. And then once we went back to 12, we managed to score, and we were 6 points behind. We get back to 13, and we played worse than we were with 12. So
yeah, I mean, to be fair, the difference on the day was a couple of really good long range tries from the hammer, where he was just able to take off a little bit quicker. Maybe in the mind as well as the legs as some of those Tigers lads, and yeah, it turns out to be the difference on the day. You have a player like that in the form that he was in, you're never going to catch him once he gets clear. So yeah, I mean, I think for the Tigers, definitely not the worst, but yeah, really struggling with the ball in hand. I think definitely just.
Finding it hard to score points.
Finding it hard to score points and just, too many errors. Like, even if you are finding it hard to score points, like, I feel like good sides will just, it's a bit different now with the amount of short dropouts, but just pile on the repeat sets. But I feel like you guys just let the pressure off a little bit.
Oh,
too
just
easy
we'll get a
sometimes,
repeat set and then drop the ball on the first tackle.
or second
and
tackle,
it's like, fuck's sake, lads.
real simple cut up.
And the thing is, the Dolphins were doing the same thing in the first half.
Yeah.
They were making stupid mistakes. I can't imagine.
The only difference was
Bennett would have been too happy with the way that they played, keeping us in there.
They weren't great. But yeah, I suppose they were good enough to pick up the win. Whether or not the Tigers can reel in a couple more of those errors, they might have a chance. But yeah, up in Townsville is going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, but fingers crossed they do. We're both backing the Tigers this week. We're both going 1-12. I'm going for the rugby union man himself, Solomon Alan Molo, to cross the try line with that. That's going to get me 9.55, and you're sticking strictly league.
Yeah, there's a bit of a theme to my tips this week. Not exclusive, obviously, but I've gone Origin themed, and Tommy Dearden. It looks like he's going to pick up that number 6 jumper for Queensland by default. Unless Billy Slater's thinking of drafting Ezra Manman, but yeah, I think it's going to be Tommy Dearden there.
Yeah, I think you'd say so. Most likely takes that jersey, but if he crosses the try line,
17-21.
Nice way to start your Friday off before we get into the M Derby, Manly up against Melbourne. It's your second game for your Friday.
Battle of Brookie. 13 years on, however many years on it is. I think it was
Adam Blair against Ben Stewart.
Was it 2011 or was it 2012 maybe?
Is that what we're talking?
Yeah.
Yep, they were talking about that on the radio today.
It comes up every time Manly goes on.
Yeah. Obviously Manly losing to I was about to say Tommy Dearden. To a Jock Madden field goal there, 13-12, and Melbourne piling on the points. Did they bring up 50? They brought up 50.
48-16, I think it was. Maybe it was 54.
Why did I feel like they brought up 50? Maybe they didn't.
Maybe they did and then had to try this a little late.
Let's just see here.
48-16, I thought. That right.
Pretty solid performance from the Storm as we expect, and Manly again sort of as they are without Tommy Turbo, not really looking the goods.
Yeah, slipping and sliding away. Manly definitely haven't been up to what they were up to in the first few rounds of the season, that's for sure. And Melbourne, I think, what was it, 2 losses for them in a row going into this one?
Yep.
So yeah, it's not too often that they're gonna make that 3 in a row.
No, not really.
Let alone 2, but yeah, 48-16. It was mostly good news for Melbourne, but they've had a killer blow, and that's Cam Munster set to be on the sidelines for a while.
Munster out with injury.
That groin's. Thought he could play through it.
Positive as Jerome Hughes has been named back, so it's just a straight swap. Tyrone Wishart will keep his spot there in the halves. So I guess it's obviously it's a bugger that for them that he's been injured, but they would have preferred both of them there, I'd imagine. But they'll be happy that they do get Jerome back. Which, as I said, Manly without Tommy Turbo, I've seen what it's like when you're missing your big superstars. We saw what Manly were like when they were missing Ola Kawadu there as well. Obviously, he was back last week, which was big for them. But I think it's going to be tough for them in this one. This is going to be a pretty tough ask, I think. Tommy Turbo, this Manly up against this Melbourne team.
Yeah, it will be a tough ask, but I just think there's a feeling. Manly have been pretty poor for a number of weeks, and they've still, even without Tommy Turbo, they've still got Jakey, they've still got DCE, they've still got Brooksy, a few other very, very handy outside backs there as well. So I don't know. It's obviously not the ideal time to come up against Melbourne when they've just about racked up 50 points, but yeah, I don't know. I just think there's something in the Battle of Brooklyn.
Yeah, Cameron Marcellus. Storm team,
yeah. Hughes is back, who's, to be fair, probably probably impacts more games across the season for the Storm.
I'd probably
maybe
agree
just
with
not
that.
as much of a big game player.
I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, it's not
It's
the worst.
probably easier for
Not
a
the worst
halfback
player to have
influence
coming
more.
in though. When you've just had to lose Munster, but we both go on completely different sides of the coin in this one. I'm going for a big Storm win. I see Melbourne romping away with this one, 13 plus, into probably their new one for a long time. I think. I'm calling it now that Pat's kind of just like a bit of a Tommy Turbo. He's not going to ever be as good as he could have been because he's had too many injuries. Far long. Whew. Unreal. He's going to get himself a meaty. $6.03.
I like it. Far longer. What a player. He looks like he's going to be, already is.
Already unreal.
Yeah, he moves so well.
Reminds me a bit like Benji in terms of like the...
Yeah.
I want to say like Benji and sort of also like Billy.
Yeah.
In terms of the way like being the fullback, but he's kind of got that.
I guess every fullback that comes through Melbourne, you're going to have that sort of one. You squint and you might see Billy Slater.
But he's got that Benji flair about him.
He look his stepping is elite. I think he's certainly gonna terrify NRL defences for years to come.
Shit, yeah. So that's my one for this one.
I like it, but I've gone
close Manly win.
Opposite side of the coin, close Manly win into Ruben Garrick. So that's 1 to 12 Manly into Ruben Garrick. $7.09 that one's going to get you. So if you're feeling a little bit of an upset on the cards,
get on Manly. I guess
get a bit of value with it, I suppose. Yeah.
That's your Friday night footy. We roll on into your Saturday and we kick off with the Raiders up against the Roosters. Now, the Raiders coming off that win, they're up against the Doggies. We had a little chat about that before. And the Roosters on the other end of a high-scoring loss of the Sharkies there.
Yeah. Two games that probably could go down as game of the round. There, the two sides there. Canberra getting up over the Doggies. Hell of an effort to think, you're down to 11 men. The Doggies go up there and pile on 2 or 3 tries unanswered to stretch it up to 18 or 20 points to 12 at one stage, and Hudson Young decided he'd go in and score a couple of meaties to open it right up and get Canberra that win, which I think you saw their maybe 30-year reunion for the 94 premiership.
94, 7 years.
Sticky got all the boys along for a few bevies in the sheds after, which would have been a much better atmosphere off the back of that win.
100% you wouldn't want to be boozing up after having a loss there.
Especially in front of the old boys that have won the comp for you, your coach. But yeah, the Roosters, unlucky, falling short to Cronulla. Scoring 30 points, but...
30 points is still losing. Short. Doesn't happen very often.
The Roosters are still scoring them with ease. I think that's 30 points at least in their last 4 or 5 weeks in a row. Ever since they dicked us on Anzac Day.
Not finding it hard to come across the try line there, that's for sure. I think this one could be a very, very good game as well.
Canberra with that home advantage.
Canberra with the home advantage. Sticky's just signed a new deal. Do we see them sort of continue to turn around a little bit more and eke their way up the table? I found it's a hard one, this one, I feel.
It is tricky. You probably say off the last 4 or 5 weeks as a whole, the Roosters definitely look more dangerous. But that's when Sticky pulls it out, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's winner side
for a game like that.
Yeah, it's a winner side. When you write Canberra off, they'll come up with a shock win, and this could be one of them. But I think I just have to go for the Roosters in this one, just based on the fact that they're scoring too many points at the moment, and off the back of coming up against a Cronulla side with Nico Hines doing what he does. I mean, anyone could have racked up 38 points against them, really.
Yeah.
Not hard to do when you're coming up against a Cronulla side playing that well.
Yeah, no, I agree there.
I think they're sorted out this week.
Yeah, I think you'd like to hope so, for their sake. I found it too hard to sort of pick a side in this one. I didn't know which way to go, so I'm just going for the old 3 try scorer there.
Yep.
We've gone for Joe Manu, we've gone for Sebastian Chris, and we've gone for Victor Radley to cross the try line. Just under 30, 29.63.
MKR.
MKR, my
Kitchen
kitchen rules,
rules.
yeah. So yeah, I had the MKR bet. There you go, 29.63. Sorry, from Manu, Chris, and Radley.
Yeah, very good value. Victor would have been bringing that one up, I presume.
Yep. Did the business.
Anyway, I've gone for Roosters 1 to 12 into Joe Manu. A little bit more simple, but $6.75. That one's going to get you if you think the Raiders can make it close. But yeah, I think it will be a close one, regardless. I'm not just saying that for my bet. But,
Definitely going to be a close one. It's going to be, we'll go right down to the wire. That one, your first game for your Super Saturday. Leads us into the middle of your sandwich. Cronulla up against Penrith now. What a battle we've got on the cards here. Top of the table Sharkies, playing some awesome footy up against Penrith, who are going to be reeling after that loss there to the Wales on the weekend, and they'll be out to try and avenge that, I can imagine.
Yeah, not too often you see the Panthers play like that. I mean, credit to the Warriors, they did play well enough to pick up the win, but yeah, definitely up against a Cleary-less Panthers. Certainly looked like they were just missing a step or two in that one, and the Wires took advantage. So yeah, you're right, they'll be desperate to make it up. It's even without Cleary, it's not often that they lose too many. So yeah, but it's probably the toughest ask for them to do it up against Cronulla, who, yeah, apart from that little blip out at Leichhardt, undefeated so far, and doesn't look like too many teams are giving them too much of a challenge.
No, not really.
That first game they had to come back against the Warriors from 12-0 down, but
I feel like that game against the Tigers.
Nico Hines has moved himself back in equal top with Dylan Edwards on the.
Well, we saw Hines have a shocker in that game there. He kicked the ball out on the full 3 or 4 times against the Tigers, and I feel like it's just a little bit of an anomaly on the season there for the Sharkies. It's going to be an awesome game, this one. Well, Penrith are going to be wanting to go out there and try and get back on winning ways, and Cronulla have just got to go out there and keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, and the other thing with Cronulla is, I guess the start of their season, the draw was pretty kind to them, but now they've gone and beaten Melbourne Roosters. If they can make it Penrith 3 weeks in a row, all of a sudden that flat track bully tag dissolves away pretty quickly, even though, there's no Cleary.
Yep.
I mean, you might have a couple of naysayers out there, but
it's
can only be who's in front of you.
Still a pretty stacked team as well, even without Cleary. But
100%, it should still be a hell of a. I reckon, game of the round. This one, sure.
Oh, it has to be game of the round. It'll be a bloody good way to get sitting there. It's about dinner time on a Saturday evening. What better way to enjoy it than by sitting there and indulging in Sharkies up against Penrith. I'll be hoping for a Sharkies win. I'm going Sharkies 9 to 12 into the try scoring machine that is Tommy Hazelton.
Yep, I like it. Good value.
$9.31.
$9.31. Tommy Hazelton, he can certainly find himself the try line. Another one of my Origin bets here. I've gone for Jerome Luai just across the stripe, and Nico Hines as well. $28.51 it's going to get you, and those two try scorers will be paired in the halves for New South Wales. I'm calling. in a week or so time. It doesn't really take a crystal ball. I think by process of elimination, it's sort of all you've really got left from a New South Wales point of view.
Yep, I agree with that one there. I like that bet. But yeah, well, that's definitely your game of the round. That's your fifth game of the week there. You finish off your Saturday with another Queensland derby. We see the Broncos. Sorry, I've skipped one.
We finished with
the poo slinger.
The bit of a dud, yeah. Bit of a bloody dud, isn't it? The Bunnies up against the Eels, both teams even odds in this one, both as shit as each other. The Bunnies, another loss, this time up against that hopefully weak-looking Cowboys team. And Para in it for the first, maybe the first half even. It was what was it, 16-10 at half time, I think it was. 16-10 at one stage in the second half. They took the 2 to go 18-10, and that's what they were thinking, well, we're going to take the 2 just to stretch that lead out a little bit more, to then go out there and score 5 tries.
Yeah.
With, I think it was, I don't know how long to go, 25 minutes, half an hour maybe?
Yeah, it was.
They ran away with it. So, Para just completely capitulated, but I'm sure they'll be happy that they're up against a team that's a couple of spots below them.
Yep. Big news for both clubs this week though. Parramatta just yesterday deciding to part ways with Brad Arthur, their coach of 11, 12, maybe even 13 years there.
Giving him the sack. Trent Barrett taking over interim.
Trent Barrett, T-Baz. Don't know if that unfortunately solves the issues for Parramatta, I think, at this stage. And one of their players has been shut down. They were going for Wayne as a replacement, but he's gone and announced his return to Souths for 3 more years. Official. We've heard word from the horse's mouth. So
how old is he?
Wayno, like 75.
He's not in his 80s yet, eh?
I don't.
He's an old 80 bugger, right? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he was 80.
74, yeah.
74, yeah, he's got another 3 years on him.
Oh, I reckon he's got another 6, bro.
But fuck, he's an old bloke.
He's an old bastard, but he's got the Dolphins cruising in the top 4.
He would have picked them.
No one would have picked that.
Nah, not at all. So handy for the Bunnies. I'm sure they'll be.
They'll be stoked to
kick up their ass.
Yeah, I think they'll be stoked to bring him back.
Did the Eels go for JD? Demetriou? That's kind of all your options are at the moment, really, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I mean, who's really out there? I mean, JD.
Do they look at giving
You've got Holbrook.
Well, I was going to say, do they look at giving Christian Wolf the job, but Christian Wolf will stay.
Sign on at the Dolphins for next year.
So.
It's the only coach out there that's won a premiership that isn't employed is Madge. Obviously, New South Wales coach, so don't know how that would go down with that picking up the 2 roles simultaneously. But you know, if Parramatta get their way, we might see Michael Maguire as the coach next year.
Who knows?
I'm not hearing anything about that, but that's just the only
only
coach out there with some experience.
Makes a little bit of sense.
Exactly. They could make a play at someone. Like they could try and see if they could get Webster out of the Warriors. You know, hey mate, you want to come move back to Western Sydney? I heard them yelling about on 360 last night. But yeah, apart from that, I don't know who's out there for Parramatta really.
It's going to be
whether or not they had all their eggs in the Wayne basket and they've gone and because apparently they decided this on the 1st of May.
Oh, okay.
That they were going to sack Brad Arthur at the end of the year. Well, not sack, but like maybe not re-sign him. I'm not sure.
Okay. They've had to pay him out of his contract.
Yep, they have. Not sure how.
750k.
750k. So that's probably either the rest of this year or like some sort of like settlement to cut it a year short. But yeah, look, Wayne, he joined South on a 3-year, $3.6 million deal. So picking up some pretty cool cash alongside the likes of, on par with the likes of your Nathan Clearys and those big gun players.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair enough, really.
So is that what you're basing your pick off this week? You're going off that the Bunnies have had some good news.
The Bunnies have had some good news.
And
I think there'll be a few South players that will be very, very happy with that. The likes of, Latrell, Cody Walker, potentially Cookie if he's set to stay around.
The other bloke in your bet there.
The other bloke in my bet who would have scored probably, close to 80 tries under Wayne in 3 years.
Yep.
And he's gone one behind Billy Slater now, I think, last week.
I think you're right, yep.
So he could go and equal Billy Slater's record this week. So, yep, I've gone a little bit of a Origin/Wayne
I like it.
bet here. Bunnies 1-12 into Johnston. And Latrell Mitchell, with a few troops out there dropping like flies in the centre stocks for New South Wales as well. Bradman Best coming off injured for Newcastle. He could find himself...
That was last hurrah, is it, before the game, so you can see if he can try and just get himself in there.
By default, potentially, he's in there now.
Yep.
You could see it happening.
I like these themed bets. Now I've just gone unders. I thought the unders line there was huge, 47.5 for two teams that.
Yeah. Wow.
Although
they're both shit defensively. And they both have a few
So it could be.
You got Brown
30-28. But it could also be 16-10 or something like that, and you run away with it. So we're going unders, and we're going Sean Lane just to try and beef the value up there. $12.51. Not the best way. I'm gutted. I thought that was a Brisbane, a Gold Coast, Jesus Christ, a Queensland derby to finish off your Saturday. But there you go, Brisbane and Gold Coast. There's your Queensland derby. That's going to have to kick off your Sunday instead. The Broncos leaving it late, leaving it lucky up against Manly there, taking the field goal. Whereas the Titans on the other end of a loss there up against this Knights team who are finding some form under Armstrong.
Yes, under Armstrong at the back. Look, Gold Coast is a bit of a heartbreaking one, really. You go in 24-10 at half time, you think, 14 points in the clear. A little bit of what Des claims to be controversy on the final whistle there with the disallowed try, but I think if you look at it, you probably have to agree with the refs on that one. And I don't really know what Des is on about. He's talking about one-on-one strips, but it's like a try-scoring motion over the line. So you, first of all, one-on-one strip you can do anywhere, and then if you're over the line, you can do multiple man strips. Unlucky for the Gold Coast, really. I mean, they've definitely brought it in from their shocking start of the year. I don't think they're ever really going to be much shout of doing much apart from just avoiding the spoon there. But every win that they pick up will be, gold dust to Desi and the boys. And Brisbane, I guess at the moment they just don't know how to lose, picking up a win, even though they didn't play the best second half there particularly. There was a couple of tries early on, and after that second half,
I fell away a little bit.
Brought it to them, a couple of tries.
Jockey Madden taking the winnings there at the end with that field goal.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a dodgy penalty there awarded in Brisbane's favour, which a little bit of a soft one, but I guess it's part of the game now, which is
it's getting slightly too soft
as football fans. You're used to the players diving. You can understand. I can empathise with them. If someone hits you high, make sure the ref knows you've been hit high. Don't just expect them to see it. Fair enough.
Also, we see it, you know what I mean? And the crowd sees it, or the commentators, and eventually...
And the bunker goes
back on it. So,
it
is getting slightly too soft for me. I feel like they are milking it
a
wee bit too much.
As a spectacle, it's definitely just getting a bit... And it's not football. your footy players, like rugby league players, you know, you're
I'm
not.
not here to see people dive on
Yeah,
that. I'm here
yeah.
to see big blockers going out there and doing business.
Yeah. Smashing into each other at 100 mile an hour. Little whiplash, you know. Someone's got the long hair and it's a wet night. You see the spray coming off their hair.
That's what I'm after.
That's what rugby league's all. That's the essence. That's the heart and soul.
Big boppers doing big things, and exactly what I want this weekend. Probably my highest odds for just like a single bet like this that I've had in a wee while.
It's a season ender.
It is a season ender
It's
too.
the first season ender that we've seen.
Apart from the try scoring multi that I had, this one here, Payne Haas and Mofo the Waker, if they can both cross the try line, it's coming in at $121.85. So that's what I'm after come Sunday. At Sunday Arvo there.
Look, be a happy chappy if that one comes off, particularly if we chuck a little cheeky $5 or $10 on that, as you said you were tempted to do. I've also gone 2 try scorers, but probably 2 of the main men for their team, so definitely not bringing you anything quite as exciting, but maybe hedge your bets if you want. Cobbo and Fafita. It's David Fafita. $8.02 for both of them to score.
Yep, nothing wrong with that as well, but probably on the other end of the try scoring frequencies there. That leads us into a Warriors-Dolphins game to finish the round off. Both teams coming away with the win there at Magic Round. Obviously, we've already spoke about it, the Wars. Coming off that big upset win against the triple premiers in Penrith. Were they that good or were Penrith just that bad? I'm going with the latter.
I think you're always going to go with the latter.
But I feel like I've been slightly less biased this year, but I also think that's probably because they've been worse.
So it's less annoying.
Yeah, and maybe I'm fucked off because they were like losing quite a bit, and it's like we were sort of down there near them. But yeah, without Sean Johnson, so that was a big, that's a big ask to go out there and do it. But also, we've said it a few times, it was a clearly lost Penrith team, and they played atrocious. They made some terrible mistakes. But
yeah, what was like? You don't see Yo making a brain explosion like that to give himself a sin.
Yeah, just silly things like. But credit where credit is due. The Warriors did play all right, so deserved it off the 2 points, deserved it on the win, I believe. They're going to have their work cut out for Mount Smart this weekend, even though it is at Mount Smart. The Dolphins coming over, probably got a bit of a rollicking from Wayno for letting us into that game. They'll be up for it, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Dolphins making the quick dash across the Tasman. Looking to pick up that win. I think they're a good shout. Obviously, you've got that notorious Warriors home advantage there, but I think, as you've said, it has kind of worn off a little bit, potentially, with the lads sort of, I don't know, like, they would have been so stoked to be at home last year.
Yeah.
For
way
longer than they've ever been at home.
Yeah.
But now, probably after a summer being home for like the whole summer or doing.
Well, the novelty's gone, and the novelty's gone.
Now fly to Aussie every second week, and it's a bit like, oh yeah, now we're a bit drained out again by this. Like,
it's definitely different for them now. The hype around the Warriors is different to what it was last year.
Yeah, their home crowd's always going to be rowdy, and they're always going to do a decent job with filling up Mount Smart.
Oh, 100%,
Yeah, definitely last year the vibes were 100% different. Like, everyone was talking about the Warriors. It was the hottest ticket in town. But I think, just off the back of maybe a couple of wheels falling off that bandwagon, we've certainly seen it lighten up a lot. But yeah, they've still got their home advantage, and it'll be tough for the Dolphins. But sitting in the top 4, what are they, third now?
Yep.
Have they gone up to third?
Sitting there at third, I believe. So It's going to be
I wouldn't be surprised to see Wayno just keep them trucking along. Even if they fall maybe to 5th or 6th, they'll be stoked with their first finals appearance.
They'll be there or thereabouts, I'm sure. They'll definitely be in the finals at the end of the year.
And do they get a couple of these troops back potentially over the next few weeks?
Possibly, maybe
not next few weeks. I think Gilbert's out for the season, ACL. We'll have
to wait and see on the injury front there, but I do think it's going to be a step too far for the Wars. I'm going to go for a Dolphins win there. Dolphins 1-12, close. Into UNA up against his old team.
Yep, I like it. An ex-Dragon as well.
12-13.
12-13, so a little bit of consecutability about that.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's ever been a word.
An ordered bet. I like that. And I guess you're going on a similar route there.
Yeah, I left the result out of it because I really don't know what's going to happen with the Warriors. I think potentially that wave of support they got at Magic Round, they might fall a bit short with a few key men still on the sideline, but yeah, they're home advantage, I'm not sure. So I've just gone Hammer to back up his effort from last week, cross the try line 2 or more times, $4.40.
Yep.
He's going to rubber stamp his number 1 Queensland Origin jumper with a little bit of style and have those Blues boys shaking in their boots a little bit for that one.
Yep, no, I like it. Good little bit there to finish it off. It leaves the Knights with the 32 points. We've already spoke about it there. They took the win in the end against the Titans. We're seeing a different looking Knights team with Armstrong at the back compared to Ponga. They're getting wins, they're scoring some good points, and he's been an integral part of it, so I'm sure they'll snap up the 2 points. They'll go and have a rested week, and they'll be up and raring to go next week.
Yeah, 100%. They've been, without Ponga, I mean, I sound like a broken record, but it's just amazing how they're playing better without Ponga than with him.
Yep.
It's no knock on KP, obviously. He's one of the best players in the comp, but yeah, it's just a weird one. Can't quite put your finger on it apart from all the other lads around stepping up, as well as Armstrong coming in and playing a key part as well. So yeah, I guess that wraps us up on the NRL front.
Another week of NRL footy done, and we're into our last little recap of an Arsenal game for the season. We took on Everton there Monday morning. I got up.
You did?
I was up.
You watched it live?
I got up. I didn't watch the whole game.
Oh yeah, you went back to sleep?
At about 3:20?
When
Foden scored the second.
Oh really?
Foden scored the second and I went to bed. Went back to bed. I was in bed. I closed my laptop, put my laptop on the ground, rolled back over and double checked my alarm was on. It was, I think it was, as soon as Foden's second goal went in, I was kind of just like watching BBC on my phone while having the game there on my laptop. And as soon as I'd seen that second goal, like it came up, it actually came up just saying goal Manchester City. It hadn't even told me who it was yet, and I closed it up. Then I saw it was Foden, and thought, well, of course. We managed to do the job in the end, even though it looked like we may not at first.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a unlucky. I don't know. Did it end up being changed to a Rice own goal, or was it? Did they just give it to Onana?
I think it stayed as Onana, I believe.
Huge deflecky off the wall. Yeah. Unlucky for that one, and it was a little bit.
Ibrahim Gay.
Oh right, Gay.
Idrissa Gay, sorry.
Idrissa Gay, yeah.
It stayed as him, and then obviously didn't take us long to
hit back, and yeah, it was definitely a game that we could have probably been 3 or 4-0 up by that stage. I think we hit the post, although so did Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and then put the rebound wide, but Tomiyasu with a nice little finish. I think Odegaard was definitely in a mood where we were not going to be losing. He
saw his speech at the end. He's fired up.
2 goals on absolute plates. One for Tommy there and one for Kai Havertz towards the end to seal the fact that we did our job. But unfortunately, as you said, West Ham couldn't do the job we all longed for as Gooners. There was a glimmer of hope around half-time. Pretty much within 10-15 seconds of Tomiyasu scoring the equaliser, Kudus had scored for West Ham to make it 2-1, and I was sitting there kind of, you heard the crowd just erupt. I've never heard a football crowd so loud, although obviously it's a little bit biased saying that because I don't really tune into
other teams,
Boca Juniors games and shit. That could obviously be quite gnarly and fucking. I could imagine what that stadium in Mexico that holds 100,000 people would get quite a few decibels coming out of it if you packed that one for a Mexico versus Argentina or Mexico versus the United States or some hectic game like that. But it was always a long shot even when they did manage to pull one back, and City managed to make it 3-1 in the end.
Making it 4 in a row.
4 in a row. You probably can't go
6
past.
of the last 7.
You probably can't go past putting Pep Guardiola as arguably, if not top, your second best of all time in the Premier League now. Off the back of that, I think there's arguments to be had whether he is better than Fergie. You've probably got arguments either way there in terms of longevity versus style of football.
I think it's going to be hard for someone to sort of, if Pep stays for another 5 years and wins
if Pep stays for 5 more years and wins 5 more trophies,
then
and has 12 Premier Leagues and fucking
13
years.
But I think the longevity has to play a big part.
Longevity plays a big part, but then, they
Fergie
both won trebles.
Fergie takes the one, and Pep can take a second place there. I think. Bit of a bummer for it to end that way.
A great season, just not good enough, I suppose, in the end.
Get us a striker.
Yep, I think that's fair enough.
Get us a striker and get us a left back.
Get us a proper left back.
Would be nice.
Unless Timber is keen to play there. But
exactly. Good to see him get on, come off the bench there in that one as well.
Crazy to see him and Zinchenko both inverting at the same time.
Yeah.
To have fucking our back four as a square.
Yeah.
Which is buzzy, but I suppose we were on the attack and Everton weren't really causing us too much problems there. Huge shout out to William Saliba. Becomes, I don't know, they've been saying the first Arsenal player to ever play every minute of a Premier League campaign as an outfielder.
Okay.
But apparently, I was hearing on the commentary that since Lee Dixon.
Okay.
So, don't know whether it's that.
Huge shout out to that.
Obviously, the first bloke to do it in over 20 years.
Huge shout out to two of my favourite girls. It was just going to be actually one of them at first, but first of all, huge shout out to Noel Nenny, our longest serving Gooner. He's leading the club at the end of the season, which is very sad to see. And then big shout out to old mate Granit Xhaka for going invincible.
I thought you were going to say Cedric for also leaving. He's one of your favourites.
No, Cedric. We're going to go to Granit Xhaka. Even though it did look like Bayer Leverkusen was sort of trolling us a little bit, posting a thing of Xhaka celebrating about a minute after Arsenal had posted about the end of their season. But either way, he's gone invincible, so well done to him. Gutted that he's gone, but pretty stoked that he ended up being able to go and do something like that, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, I think it's turned out for the best for both.
Yeah, I'd much rather have Declan Rice.
Yeah, I'd much rather be having Declan Rice.
But I do think Declan Rice, Xhaka
nice.
and Odegaard could have been a pretty nice combo.
Would have been nice, but I'm also liking the look of Partey, Rice, and
I've just never been sold on Partey because he's never played enough games. If we can keep him fit, then awesome.
He's looked so good these last few games.
He's looked good. That's why I'm hoping he can stay fit over the
You have to think,
break.
since he's come back, we've only lost the Villa game.
Yeah. As long as he can stay fit.
Even if he was there. But yeah, that's the other thing.
Fit over the break, and he can play a good, 35 games next season, and that's exactly what we're after.
Yeah, I think you're right. Bang on. We need a striker to come in. No disrespect to Kai Havertz, but I just don't think he's that striker we need that's going to bag 25 goals this season.
Bring him in off the bench, get rid of Jesus.
Pick up those extra wins in the game we're not playing well.
Sell Jesus rather than Eddie, or sell Jesus and Eddie. Plenty of talk that Ipswich want to get Eddie and Emmy. 60 mil for both of them.
I don't think we'll see Jesus move on. I think he's a good versatile option to have that can sort of play anywhere in that front four, maybe, depending on which way you set up. And having only been brought in last year, I don't know. Could just be Arteta making a solidified front, but he also said there's no way Gabby's getting sold. No way. Whereas I think Eddie, there's sort of been that talk for a number of years now. Now that Kai Havertz has sort of come in and become the number one striking option, then we sort of go Gabby 2, Eddie's 3. I mean, I don't know if he's going to want to stick around as a third choice option throughout his mid-20s, coming into his prime. He probably wants to go somewhere, get a crack at getting a couple more England caps involved. But if we can sign someone and he goes out the door, wouldn't be unhappy if it's someone like Ivan Toney or Alexander Isak.
I'd rather Isak than Toney. I think that's who
I think Isak's probably a more upside to him, but then I think like with Toney, there's no way he could be a flop.
Yeah, a lot of talk about Benjamin Sesko from over at Salzburg, I believe, or is he at Leapy? I can't remember, one of the RBs. I want someone Premier League proven idea.
Yeah, I think Isak or Toney would be the way to go.
I mean, even like someone like Ollie Watkins.
Ollie Watkins, yeah, but I don't think you're going to get. I don't think Villa will be making too many sales having qualified for the Champions League.
He'd be ideal.
They've got very wealthy owners, so I wouldn't be surprised if guys like that are getting a pretty
big, 100%. But
bonus off the back of qualifying.
He'd be a great signing to make.
100%, and he's a boyhood Arsenal fan, so he'd go out there.
Good,
definitely play with his heart on his sleeve as he does for Villa. But yeah, I suppose.
We'll have to wait
another year to see any dreams of lifting that Premier League trophy realised.
We got some Euros footy. We got Copa Americas coming up, so we'll keep you updated over those over the break there. But it is the end of the Arsenal season, unfortunately. There was a little bit of darts that went on over the weekend. We saw Michael Smith beat the Asp in that first round match there to go on and then take the win in the final there in Sheffield to seal his qualification. Tees us up with Luke Littler up against Smith, 1v4, and then Humphreys versus MBG in your two semis there this Friday morning. I'm going for a Littler MBG final. Littler takes out Michael Smith and MBG takes out Humphreys. I think it's Luke Littler in the final against either of those two, and he loses it regardless. I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know if he wins the Premier League in his first pop. That's a huge ask. I mean, to finish top of the table as it was is big. Yeah. I'm going to stick with it. Littler MVG final with MVG to take it in the last league decider. I haven't put there's no King Ryoki just for 2. I feel like the odds aren't going to be too high in that one. It's probably too tough to pick as well. But we do also have the Dutch Darts Championships over the weekend. I believe that's the name of the tournament there. And we get to see Hopes back out in action. No draw just yet, but he'll be out there. Hopefully we can see him get a win. A little bit of money and make that way up the order of merit a little bit further. it's probably us for another week. Wraps us up. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to get involved in all your socials. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us a 5-star, a subscription. Enjoy your week ahead. Enjoy your winter sports as we get into the thick of things here in New Zealand. If you're having a punt, do so responsibly. Also, briefly, RIP Neds in New Zealand will be moving to Bet365 odds in the near future, June, July, I believe it said. So if you're getting on the punts, do it responsibly.
We might have a few. Our tips will probably start getting a lot less creative in terms
They
of
probably will because there's going to be less options for the NRL, but maybe we'll have to make the switch to the TAB because it's probably going to have a little bit more than Bet365.
Potentially, we'll have to do some research, I suppose, on that one.
So we'll have a look there. But either way, if you are getting out there and having a bet, do it responsibly. And hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yep, we sure will. We'll see you then.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.